this radio equipment in there and stuff. And one of my first people that I had on the air was Grant Peeples. And that was the coolest thing in the world. Grant's the only guy I know that he can go anywhere and say, hey, you want to play? Yeah, I'm with you. Pick up different people each time.
Oh, you have no idea how many people said no before I get to these guys.
And we don't say that exciting.
I feel like I'm over here. I feel like I'm laughing with this palm tree in the way.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you a very good friend of mine, Grant Peeples.
All right. We're gonna start out with a piece of poetry. I wrote this book. My poem's called Grant's Little Red Book of Poetry. And as you can see by the way I spelled it, you know I'm all into irony.
Predictive
irony. If it's predictive, it's not irony. That's the problem. But I wrote this poem especially for you people. This is called High Octane Generation. So long to the high octane generation and all its faulty heirs, who at long last, having learned to live without beauty or any of her manifestations, can just sit here on this bank of sand and watch the river flow, the black and backwards. Praise now the plastic tunes and tooth whiteners, the square boxes, the straight liners, the lighted paths and hand sanitizers, the bay spectrums of knowledge that bumbling, self-righteous light we have spit into the very eye of the atom. We, the high-octane generation, have been weakened by a pathological need for power steering, air conditioning, fuel injection, solid-state ignition, and push-button roadside assistance from a revisionist dashboard savior with blood in his feline eye. But time was, we had our valves ground down, man. We had our hearts bored out. We had points and coils and rotors. And brother, we had chrome. Back then we could bleed our brakes, advance a spark, torque our heads. And there was no goddamn check engine light because we checked our engines every day. We sat with them while they idled. We listened to their intonations and laid our hands upon the valve covers as we breathed the secrets of our hearts into their manifold. Yeah, we were masters at backseat acrobatics. But all that was just fooling around inside a poem we already knew by heart. You see, these machines, they were extensions of our understandings of all things, both material and spiritual, and to such an extent that speed and horsepower were not just quantitative realities. No, they were allegories that fueled our passions and drove our ideals and mapped out our interior destinations across the crooked fields of time. I have no idea what has happened now to this high-octane generation. Why it can no longer burn rubber, why it resists lifting the hood to see the power, or how it has arrived at such a place that owning a car that can park itself would appear to be nothing to be ashamed of. Or maybe I do, but that'd have to be in another book. This is a song I wrote on the side of I-75 one night up in Georgia while I was getting a $180 speeding ticket coming back from a $200 gig in Atlanta. And this voice started talking to me in my head, and it was not a good voice. It was a nasty voice. It was bringing into question everything I do as an artist. And she, notice I say she, was saying things like, you are such a loser. Look at you out here riding around. Nobody wants to hear this crap you're writing about. You negative thing, you. Well, I wrote down what she said, and then I wrote down my reply. And here's the song.
You're a slave to your imagination, chained to the throttle of a runaway runaway train. All your life you look upon creation, trying to find a window where you could escape. You're a slave of your imagination, chained to the throttle of a runaway train. All your life you look upon creation, trying to find a window where you could escape.
When will I learn that I'll never escape? Thank you, Alex. It's amazing what you can throw together backstage 5 minutes before you go on. We're going to have somebody else come up and sing this song. This is a song I recorded in 2009, and I get like just like one of my favorite all-time singers to sing it with me. And we recorded it on an album called Pawn Shop. And that was Carmela. Thank you very much for coming up. That was Carmela, everybody. This is Kelly Goddard.
Hey, Kelly!
Well, I heard about the hanging this morning, and I rode on into town. There were gallows nailed up on the square, and a big crowd had gathered all around, selling postcards and cotton candy, crucifixes and American flags. I seen a woman, she wept at the gallows steps. She held a little bird in her hand. She said,
I'm not crying for him. I don't even know his name. Oh, but what he done was a sin against God, to be reckoned come Judgment Day. I'm crying for what we've become, still turning that flesh to dust. Oh, I'm not crying over him, I'm crying about us.
the prisoner climbed the gallows steps. You could feel excitement in the crowd as that noose got lowered down over his head, and his face was covered with a shroud. And then that woman held her little bird to her breast as the order rang loud and clear. And then I heard a crack as they snapped his neck, and the crowd let out a cheer. She said,
I'm not crying for him, I didn't even know his name. Oh, but what he done was a sin against God, to be reckoned come Judgment Day. I'm crying for what we've become, still turning that flesh to dust. Oh, I'm not crying over him, I'm crying about us.
well, they cut him down and they hauled him off. And the people, they all gone home. And the wind blew trash through the empty empty street where that woman, she stood all alone. Then she knelt down on the gallows steps and she bowed her head to pray. Then she raised her hands above her head, let that little bird fly away. She said, I'm not crying for him, I don't even know his name. What he done was a sin against God, to be reckoned come judgment day. I'm crying for what we've become, still turning our flesh to dust. Oh, and I'm not crying over him, I'm crying about us. Oh, and I'm not crying over him, I'm crying about us. Kelly Goddard, the new 76ers. When I got started in this thing, I have a friend named Bill Wharton. I don't know if you know, he's the sauce boss, and Bill's kind of a mentor of mine. And Bill told me, he said, I was telling him about, I was getting in this business and I didn't know how to put a band together or anything. He said, oh man, you don't worry about that. He said, book the gigs and then hire the band. So I booked this gig at Springfest, I guess it's about 5 or 6 years ago, and I booked it as Grant Peeples and the People's Republic, and of course I didn't have a band, but I got the gig, and so I went to the new 76ers and said, hey, will y'all come be my band? And they talked about it for a couple weeks and amongst themselves, and so finally they said, okay, yeah, we'll do it. So they came over there and they were my band, and we got through playing the gig, and they said they wanted to meet with me, and so we met backstage. It was nice, and they said, we just want to tell you, that if you ever need another band to back you up, we would prefer not to do it. This is a song I wrote. This is my entry into a Florida State song contest. I'm a little loud in the monitors for me, my guitar. If you can just turn my guitar down a lot. I'm sure it's too loud for Danny too. A little bit more.
Well, I can hear it.
This is my entry into the Florida State Song Contest in 2006 when President Bush's brother decided we needed a state song to encourage people to come back down here and start spending money again because they had quit. And everybody was freaking out about it. So Jeb decided a new state song was in order because our old state song, and once again, I'm all about irony, and this was an irony lost on everybody except me and Jeb. Our old state song was called The Old Folks at Home. And he knew that was a bad marketing idea. In the middle of the winter, when you need a vacation, come where the sun and the sand is waiting. Right down here at the bottom of our nation, I'm talking about Florida. Yeah, come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, there's 1,000 new residents coming down every day. They're all moving in and buying up the place. They're filling in the swamps to make some more space. And man, we're starting to need it. We got snake farms and alligator wrestlers, more state executions than anywhere but Texas. Full board and wet t-shirt contestants. Man, you gotta see it to believe it. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody fights, snake bites, alligator and shark attacks with 1 million illegal aliens to sack all our trash, clean toilets, wash dishes, and cut the grass. I'm telling you, it's heaven. We feature one golf course for every man, woman, and child. We cut down the trees you get to see for miles. Don't it seem like a place you could kick back a while? Well, dude, it don't get no better. Yeah, come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. We got these federally subsidized sugar plantations. They're bigger and richer than most European nations. They own our politicians and hire all the Haitians. It's what you call a sweet deal. Well, everybody said it was some kind of joke when we said it ain't over till your brother counts the votes. And 12 years later, y'all went and elected Rick Scott. It's what you call a state steal. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, our school system rates higher than Mississippi and Louisiana. And though we ain't up there with Arkansas and Alabama, 30% of our kids wind up in the slammer. And that's gotta count for something. You see, we ain't got no state income tax, cause we get to stick it to all the Yankees, and that makes up for that. A service-based economy's what keeps us fat. That and a lot of fried money. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody, everybody, everybody else does. Oftentimes when I play in places, before I go on, somebody comes up to talk to me, and I can always call it the talk. And I got the talk today. So this is a genetically modified version of a song that I wrote. I did not write, actually, that I stole from somebody. It is on a new record I wrote called Indiscretion, which the person who gave me the talk would not want to hear. So December 7th, 1941, y'all all know that date is the date which I live in infamy. The truth is, I'm of the opinion that December 7th, 2012, one of these days is going to be a much bigger date, much more important date in the annals. How do you say that word? Annals of our history. Here goes me coming back next year. I can see it right now.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. I think is the dog off the chain now, Danny? Or is that... I've been separate. But anyhow, so December 7th of 2012 was the date that the 1 billionth person, and that is B with a billion, signed up on Facebook, and which was really a big cultural thing for the world. All of the people who have signed up, all these billions of people, all their colors and creeds and political persuasions and sexual identities and craziness, there's one thing that they all have in common, and that is an experience, which is the kind of the subject and theme of this song. While it applies to people from very different backgrounds, I think everybody can relate to this. They say every man should have a broken heart at least once, 'cause that's how we all grow emotionally. And I've been kicked around by a lot of women in my life, but nothing can compare to how you treated me. Times it it seemed as though the pain would never go away. It was many years ago, I know, as I still feel it to this day. And now, well, I see you wanna be my friend on Facebook. Oh, you freaking kidding. Well, all the memories, they're coming right back to me now. How you lied and cheated, how could I forget? Well, I moved across the country just to get away from you. Then this morning I received your friend request. At times it seemed as though the pain was never gonna quit. You nasty little hussy, oh you narcissistic. And now I see you wanna be my friend on Facebook. Oh, you freaking kidding me. Well, I don't care what kind of cocktail you are, or which member of the Beatles or 1950s movie star. And I don't give a shit what your stripper name is, or if your kitty had a litter, or if Farm Bill's in a Twitter. I don't wanna see your new tattoo, and I damn sure won't be poking ever again. Oh, now I see you wanna be my friend on Facebook. Oh, you freaking kidding me. All right, we got time for one more. And after we finish, I'll be over there at the CD table. If you want any of these things, if you still dealing in the currency of songs, not many people do anymore. But if you're one of those, we will be over there. And I actually I take credit cards, and I like taking ones that have like a $5,000 balance on them. Yeah, man. Okay, we're gonna do a sing-along. This is a song I wrote for the St. Joe Company. They're not called the St. Joe Company anymore. They're called Joe because they were ashamed of what they did at St. Joe Company, and they thought they changed the name, they could get away with it. But they hired me a few years ago to write a jingle for them, and here's for a development that they were doing, messing up some land and stuff. So it's got a place. You want to sing it? I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go. Come on down to summer camp, and then y'all are gonna go. Summer camp. Pretty good. Yeah, just like that. Well, developments come and developments go, and it's hard to tell the good ones from the bad ones, you know. But you can trust your friends here at Old St. Joe. Come join us down at summer camp. It's all laid out on a low wet land. Lots of pygmy rattlers and pocket sand. There were some old black bears, but hell, we shot all them, 'cause we aim to please at summer camp. We'll build you a house, fast and cheap, on a lot with a ditch where there used to be a creek. Think Think all the new rich Georgia folks that you gonna get to meet. Yeah, friendly new neighbors. It's summer camp. Summer camp. Oh, summer camp. A paid political development brought to you by your governor and his lobbyists. Come on down to summer camp. There's dog flies and no-see-ums, red bugs, ticks, and mosquitoes. We got so many yellow flies, man, we can hardly feed them. It's one big blood fest at summer camp. The seawater's shallow, it's all brown and yucky. There's plenty oyster shells here to cut you. And if you like sand spurs, well, we can fill up your bucket. Just bring it on down to summer camp. Yeah, come on now, seize the day. You never know when a hurricane's gonna blow all this away. Be the first to have your kids step on one of our stingrays. We're one with nature. It's summer camp. Summer camp. Oh, summer camp. A paid political development brought to you by your governor and his lobbyists. Come on down to summer camp. Well, writing a check, it's not that much trouble. You ought to do it now and do it on the double. And don't listen to a bunch of bull about some real estate bubble. Come sign on the line at summer camp. Well, the sky is gray and the muck is black. There's a seaweed beach and bull shark attacks. If you love the feel of sand in your crack, bring your ass down to summer camp. Summer camp. Oh, summer camp. A paid political development brought to you by your governor and his lobbyists. Come on down to summer camp. Yeah, developments come and developments go. And it's hard to tell the sizzle from the fizzle, you know. But you can trust us. Hell, we're old St. Joe. Come join us down at summer camp. Thank you,
Grand Peeples, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, culture freaks. Good to have you guys in here today.